Welcome back to the Hawkesbury Social. This is Adam Stacy, your host, and we are episode number 10 of season 2. I'm very happy to say that the podcast has been doing wonderfully with numbers, with the help of some very good people that have been influencing the ads and the numbers. So I'm really proud to say that we're at 340 followers, around 4,100 downloads, so 2,000 downloads this weekend alone. And we have 141 5-star ratings, guys, so thank you so much. I have to take a minute to thank you because it's all of you that are listening and making the numbers grow, so that's wonderful. So, if this is your first time listening, thank you for joining us, of course. And if you are a returning listener, I appreciate you being here again with us. Today's episode is a little different. It's more personal than most of the conversations we usually have. Today I want to talk about loss, childhood and the long shadows those early moments can cast on the rest of our lives, guys. So basically, I'm saying losing your mom at age 4, which I did, to a brain aneurysm, can leave long shadows. Early moments can cast on the rest of your lives, and that's exactly sometimes how it feels. Specifically, I want to talk about losing my mom when I was 4 years old. So the moment everything changed, guys, when you're 4 years old, you don't understand the concept of death. I mean, you're 4 years old. The way adults do, at least. And you don't understand permanence. You don't understand that when someone is gone, they're gone. And for me, the story begins with something that felt most and almost ordinary. One day my mom was there, and one day she wasn't. My mom died suddenly from a brain aneurysm. There was no long illness, no gradual goodbye, just a moment where life was normal and then everything changed forever. When you're young, you don't really, when you're that young, you don't really have the language to process it. You don't have the emotional tools yet or skills that you need to process it. And you don't know that someone important in your world is suddenly missing. They're gone. Childhood without understanding is very, very hard. And as a child, you don't always sit there and consciously think, I lost my mom. Instead, it shows up in quieter ways. Maybe it's a feeling of confusion. Maybe it's moments where you realize other kids have something you don't. You see their moms picking them up. Basic things, guys. Your mom was there for your first day of school. Mine wasn't, and I cried for the first 3 hours. And my kindergarten teacher can tell you that I cried a lot. My godmother, Darlene, took me, and I cried the whole time. But I learned to love it. And thanks to Mrs. B will say, she was definitely the reason that I got through those few days. But, moving on, maybe it's a question that doesn't have answers, guys. Maybe it's moments where you realize other kids have something you don't, and just by seeing them picking up their kids, helping them with school, being there for birthdays, and even if nobody says it out loud, something inside you starts to notice a difference. But at 4 years old, I didn't fully understand what had happened. Not really. The understanding comes later, and sometimes years later. The question that follows you all your life, guys, is one of the strange things about losing a parent so young is that you grow up with a question that never fully goes away. What would life have been like if she had lived? Who would she have been as I got older? What advice would she have given me for the answers that I didn't have for myself? Or when I went through anxiety, you know how many times I thought, if I had my real mom, and this is nothing against my stepmom who I loved tremendously, and she raised me, but it's normal for you to think this way. And I thought to myself many times, would I be the same person today? Would I have gotten myself into addiction and alcohol addiction and drug addiction and anxiety and depression and bad relationships and, well, I'm not any different than anybody else, I suppose, in some ways, but, I just wonder, would I be the same person? And those questions don't always have answers, guys. Unfortunately, they don't have answers. Not always. Sometimes they just become part of the story you carry with you. The impact later in life, when I reached my 20s, I began experiencing anxiety attacks and depression. Deep depression and deep anxiety attacks, to the point where I was calling the ambulance once a week for the first 6 weeks of it, to the point where they were sending me a bill for the amount of ambulance calls I was doing, because I thought I was always having a heart attack, and I finally had to accept that it was anxiety. And I've spent a lot of time wondering something that many people who experience childhood loss ask themselves, guys. Did losing my mom when I was 4 play a role in all of this? And the truth is, I don't know. And maybe I'll never know. Hopefully, if everything is the way we think it is, one day she can answer that question for me. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. Maybe life is just complicated. But psychologists often talk about how early childhood trauma can affect us later, sometimes in ways we don't fully understand at the time. And when you lose somebody that important during your formative years, it can shape how you see the entire world. I know it did for me. For at least 15 years, I cared nothing for myself. And I mean this in every way. I didn't take care of myself. I traveled a lot. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done in my early days, and clubbing and dropping, doing different things that don't need to be talked about right now, but, you wonder what would have happened. And your sense of safety, like my sense of safety was gone once I moved to Toronto by myself. your sense of stability, who to call when you fuck up and you need help, financially, mentally, physically, whatever it is. And you know what? You also lose a sense of belonging in a way. But again, the honest answer for me is that I still don't fully know. And maybe that's okay, guys. Maybe that's okay. Learning to talk about it for a long time, this wasn't something I talked much about. I repressed it. And I know I repressed it because it started coming up in other ways. And those coping mechanisms that I've just mentioned that weren't good for me, unfortunately, that was something that helped cover the intense pain that I was in. And the hate that I had for myself at the time, actually. Not because I was hiding it, but I think it's because when something happens so early in your life, it almost becomes background noise in the story, guys. It's just part of who we are and who you are. But talking about it now, here, it feels important, and this podcast was important for me to do. Because there are a lot of people out there who lost somebody early in their lives, and I'm friends with many of them. My stepson, who's 30 years old, lost his mom at age 10. You know, so we have that in common, but I know a lot of people. I have a friend that lost his mom to cancer, who I met on a educational program that was hosted by the Employment Center here. And he's a good friend of mine now. He lost his mom to cancer. And sometimes hearing someone else say, I went through that too, can make you feel a little less alone, guys. And sometimes you end up surrounding yourself with people that have gone through similar situations so that they understand you. Of course, that makes you feel a lot less alone, right, guys? So what loss teaches us, I believe, sometimes losing someone young changes you. Even if you don't fully realize it, can make you appreciate time differently. It can make relationships feel more fragile. And sometimes it can make you stronger in ways you never ever expected. Not because the loss was good. Loss is never good. But because human beings have this incredible ability to adapt and keep moving forward, guys, which is what I've done. I've gotten married. I have stepkids. I have a home. Yes, it's a rental, but it's a very nice home. You know, I have a good family around me. Friends, colleagues, new colleagues actually from doing this show has been just opened up a new world for me. Now I'm going to college, pulling pretty much straight A's all the time. You know, sometimes when I wasn't feeling well, it wasn't as easy, but for the most part, everything is going really well with this. Now, the medications that I'm on that are controlling all the pain don't help sometimes with relationships when it comes to your love life because of the side effects. But, yeah. Humans have the ability to adapt and keep moving forward. Who believes this? So, in closing, guys, today I wanted to do my 20-minute podcast for Saturday with you guys. If you're listening today and you lost a parent or someone close to you when you were young, I just want to say this. Your experience matters. Your story matters. And the questions you carry with you are valid. It's part of my story. And maybe sharing it today helps someone else reflect on theirs. Thank you for listening to Season 2, Episode 10 of the Hawkesbury Social. If today's episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it, who might need to hear it. And as always, take care, all of you. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'm Adam. I'll see you next time on the Hawkesbury Social. Thanks, guys.